Welcome. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today at our annual State of the County Address. My name is Matt Largent. I'm the President and CEO of Williamson, Inc., and I'm thrilled at the large, and I'm actually pretty sure a record-breaking crowd who's here to celebrate the success of our great community. At this time, please rise as Travis Anderson, Mayor Anderson's son, gives the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be given today by Mayor Anderson's grandchildren. Travis?
Please bow. Father, thank you. Thank you for the grace that you have given us, that we may all be here as strangers and friends alike to celebrate what's happened in this community. Thank you for this meal that you're providing for all of us. May it nourish our bodies. Please let us all go out in the community, be a beacon for all of us as we continue down this path. In your name, in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
You're done. Come on.
Ready? Ready? Okay, got it? I
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we can go sit down.
Good job. Good job. You know, events like these are made all that more special when families involved. And to continue the Anderson family reunion, it's now my pleasure to welcome his daughter, Laura Howard, to the stage to formally introduce Mayor Anderson. Laura?
It is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. He was born in Farragut, Tennessee. He is a graduate of the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. He is a veteran of the United States Air Force, where he served in Africa and Vietnam. He retired from the private insurance sector after working 25 years when he was elected as the Williamson County Mayor in 2002. He is currently serving his fourth term. He served as county commissioner from 1986 to 2002, chairman of the county commission for 4 years, and vice chairman for 8 years. He is currently on the board of trustees at Williamson Medical Center. He is a member of the Transportation Management Authority, Middle Tennessee Mayor's Caucus, Williamson Chamber of Commerce, Franklin Noon Rotary, Workforce Essentials Board, the Williamson County Economic Development Council, Leadership Franklin Alumni, Franklin Tomorrow Board, and he is a mentor in the Governor Tennessee Achieves program. He is a past board member of the American Hospital Association Committee on Governance, and he is a founding member of the Grassland Athletic Association and a current member of Barry's Chapel Church of Christ. With the late Anita Anderson, they have 5 children: Ryan, Travis, myself, Russ, and Wes. They have 9 grandchildren: Olivia, Molly, Scott, McCabe, Cole, Raleigh, Audrey, Evangeline, and Iris. He is remarkable. He is an ice cream man who freely provides Klondike bars for his special friends. He is a gardener who has been serving farm to table for years in his kitchen. You should see his green beans, tomatoes, okra, cucumbers, squash, and peppers. He can make a cornbread that rivals the best meat in 3. He is a party planner for Purple Whole Pea parties. He is a friend that values an ordinary relationship over a shallow pursuit of extraordinary experiences. He is a papaw that changes diapers, hosts sleepovers in his den, serves chocolate milk and cookies for supper, and delights in all opportunities to spend with his grandchildren. He is a father that demonstrates love, failure, and the unwavering importance of family. He values character over circumstance. He embraces biblical authority, and he loves the Lord. It is my pleasure to introduce a man who loves Williamson County passionately, my dad, Roger Anderson.
Even my children surprise me. So you got to see all 9 of my grandkids today, 6 of them here and 3 in Fort Worth, Texas. And I'm not sure about all the technology, how all that's done, but I thank the ones that did it. I'd like to thank you all for being here today for my 15th annual State of the County address. I want to welcome all the city and the county and the state, other elected people, and if you're in the audience and you hit that, if you're elected, appointed, city, county, state, would you please stand so we can acknowledge you all are here. Come on, Sam, Charles. So we're going to get in the weeds a little bit today, and you've probably seen or heard in the news the Williamson County School System presented a capital needs request for approximately $500 million early in our budget processes. As a result of these funding requests, numerous meetings have been held and much discussion has been centered around how to fund a school building program of this magnitude. These meetings have proven to be an educational process for members of the public who are not familiar with the county's options for generating the different annual funds that we need. So a quick Budget 101 review may be in order for us today. The county's primary source of revenues include the property tax, sales tax, and the wheels tax. There are a number of smaller fees and other taxes, but these 3 provide the majority of our revenue. When sales tax is collected on items you purchase, these monies are submitted to the state for distribution back to the collecting entity, which then returns 1/2 of that to our school system and 1/2 back to our cities. One of the hardest buttons in the world for any elected official to push is to say yes to a personal property tax. Doing so directly affects each property owner in our county. Our county commissioners are constantly reviewing other sources of revenue which may be available. Many of you may not be aware that Williamson County has a number of private acts on the books, many of which are authorized the collection of privilege tax on new construction. Privilege taxes are collected at the time building permits are issued and provide additional revenue for capital expenditures related to school, fire protection, county roads, parks and recreation. This year, the County Commission approved and authorized the implementation of a new educational impact fee. 1/2 of the new fee went into effect on March 1, and the other half will take place in September 1 of this year. I tell you that so that you're aware we're always researching options and looking for every available source of revenue to help with the needs of a property tax increase. Williamson County is the only county in the state of Tennessee with this new educational impact fee, which is assessed on only the new homes, the new construction. It does not affect you as an existing property owner. It is thought to be able to, it will generate approximately $25 million annually once it's up and running, but it's been met with some resistance. Of the $2.5 million that we've collected since March, we've had about $350,000 of that paid under protest. Along those same lines, the commission asked me to explore the possibility of increasing the current local sales tax collection in Williamson County, taking it to a maximum of 2.75. The final passage of such a proposal, if the commission decides to go that route, will be left up to you, the registered voters in our county, under a referendum. The Williamson County school system could see an additional $60 million by the arrangements we are working on for 3 years. The proposal for this increase is earmarked the funding received for the first 3 years directly back to the county to pay the school debt of that $500 million request that has been presented to us. We have requested the cooperation of all of our cities to enter into an interlocal agreement to return their portion of the money. Without exception, we've gone to 4. All 4 of them have received it. We've got 2 more to go, one in Brentwood and one in the Thompson Station area. We would ask you to be patient and tolerant with us as we go through this process. Over the past several weeks, our budget director, Nina Graham, and myself have been to all the county municipalities. And we're working on those interlocal agreements. We're working on those arrangements to continue to build in our school system the way that it needs to be built. After that period of time of 3 years, that money remains with the cities and the schools get to keep theirs. As stated earlier, our sales tax collections are paid on the purchases made by visitors and tourists, not just on our county residents. According to our Convention and Visitors Bureau President, Ellie Westman-Chin, Williamson County currently ranks 6th in the state with $8.46 million in local tourism revenue annually. That saves each one of us nearly $500 on our tax bill on an annual basis. Since the 2007-8 school year, our student population has increased 32%. I got 6 of them right here. We have 44 school sites, several of them with portables, and they do not provide the classroom, the other physical facilities we need to meet the projected growth in the next 10 years. Sales tax increase is being considered as an alternative to always relying on that property tax. We are going to continue to have kids come to our community just as we're going to continue to have people move in. So stay tuned. You will be hearing more about this proposal in the coming months. If you believe in the success of the system, of our school system, I want to encourage each one of you as registered voters, ask questions, go to the polls, and vote your conscience. Enough of the deep dive. The recent approved budget that we just finished did not require a property tax this year. We had a budget of $557 million. Schools operating budget was $357 million of that, which reflects 64% of the budget. You have to pay for those school buildings and those capital projects. That drives it up to about 75%. That means, and another way to look at it, that for every dollar you pay into property If he had been from Tennessee, I wouldn't have put that up there, but he was from Alabama. So 75 cents of every dollar you pay in goes back to public schools. I also want to take time out right now to thank the Budget Committee members. I saw Dana Osbrooks here. I saw David Landrum here, Dwight Jones, and Luke Green. These 4 men served with myself in working through one of the most difficult processes that I can ever remember having to work through. I want to thank our budget director, Nina Graham, for her due hard work and her diligence throughout the process, and to our other elected officials, appointed officials, for holding the line, living within the guidelines, and giving our residents professional services. So let's talk a little bit more about bars and graphs. That's kind of what I'm known for. Population throughout our county continues to rise. The 2010 census showed that we had 183,000. According to Matt in the chamber, there's about 216,000 folks here now. So go from 183,000 to 216,000 since 2010. I'm going to show you a couple of maps. The map overlay you're looking at is provided by Brad Coleman in the assessor's office. Those parcels that are marked in red represent our commercial properties. Those in the blue represent the residential, and the green reflects the parcels in the county that are still booked on the books as rural farmlands and woods. Don't shift that away yet, Kate. Let them look at that. There's a lot of green there. And this has kind of been the footprint that we've seen for the last 31 years that I've been around. The cities continue to grow and annex in the rural areas that so many of you feel that are very special to us and special to me. We protect them. And that's the way it ought to be. The next one is even more interesting. This is taking out the cities, the commercial, the churches, all of those entities that do not pay property taxes, and we're calling that in the green areas our farm belt or green belt. So when you see and hear that our county is exploding in growth, that's a snapshot as of May. So there's still plenty of good rural county area that we've been able to preserve. And I thank the cities for allowing us this, be able to do that, and the county commissioners for putting those stringent requirements. Because we do have a lot of developers that move to town that want to move out in the upper area, and there's no services out there. And so we have to tell them no, or you can do it in some other way. The top 10 assessed properties in Williamson County that just ended. It's a quick slide of the $850 million that those companies represent. That changes from time to time. The next one is the one that even surprised me. It's hard to read, I'm sure, from the back. All of these slides, everything we've got, are on our website. So you're welcome to go to that and download it. But I draw your attention to from 2010 to 2017, our commercial inventory change has been 3.8%. But our increase in value has grown 92% in 7 years. For the calendar year of 2016, there were 3,324 residential. I'm getting a sideshow up here with the lamb and my granddaughter. There was 3,324 residential building permits issued countywide, city and county. Out of that, 2,348 new homes were added to the tax roll. Our average values range from one part of our county, $290,000 for a new, all the way to a high of $917,000. This type of growth, coupled with our sound fiscal management, is important to retaining our AAA bond rating by Moody's. That's advantage to each and every one of us. Oftentimes, you hear the word growth is met with some negative thoughts, but it's my belief that job growth is a positive thing. From June 15 to June 16, employment increased in 291 of the largest U.S. counties, and there's over 3,000 counties in the United States. According to the U.S. Labor and Bureau of Labor, Williamson County had the largest percentage increase with a gain of 6.7% over the year, well above the national job growth rate of 1.5. Congratulations to you as business owners for making that happen. Though growth may be physically seen within the boundaries of our cities, our growth also reflects the increased need for services and facilities on a countywide basis. They may not affect each one of us personally. They're still valuable service that would have an adverse effect on all of us and our quality of life. You may have heard some dogs bow wowing as you walked in and cats meowing. That's part of the operation here to draw attention to our animal control. Laura Cheveria, our animal center director, and her staff have some fur babies out there. Any of you want to take them back with you, you can. They're all up for adoption. But listen to some of these statistics that that young lady, our director, has changed just in the last 4 or 5 years. She has reversed what we used to see in the animal center world, a government-run shelter. During the last year, we had a 96% save rate for all the animals that came into our facility. A task force is currently being assembled and formulating the programs and the educational needs that may prepare us for construction of a new facility in the next 2 to 3 years. Despite this phenomenal save rate, our facility and our staff continue to be overcrowded. Last calendar year, we saw 3,900 animals at the Animal Center. That's an increase of 875 animals in 1 year. So we're making strides in providing some improvements in that area. We're looking at some blueprints, we're looking at some land, and we hope to be announcing that we'll be having a new animal control center that we can host and have and create some new models for everybody in the state and the United States to emulate. It's important that we realize that while schools may be the most talked about reason people live in Williamson County, we know there are other quality of life attributes, such as our excellent law enforcement and our public safety personnel, both in our municipalities and throughout our county. On the way in, I hope you notice some of the law enforcement and public safety vehicles on display out front. On the back of in this room, you will see two motorcycles. Even though the funding continues to be tightened up every single year, Jeff, our sheriff, is not bashful about asking for donations. And I applaud him. Where's he at? I was looking for him. Where you at, Jeff? There you are. Stand up. So he goes out and calls on a few people and gets 2 motorcycles over there. I won't tell you how much we're getting them for, but they're not over $1. Pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. And he's got equipment and finances, and he's got donation for our K-9 tactical units and other field divisions. He's been able to ask the business, your business, to contribute. We were trying to get over our 2017 Pathfinder that Nissan donated to us. We weren't able to do that, but they just recently gave us one. Great corporate partnerships. Sheriff's Office is comprised of 303 employees who have dedicated their daily careers to halting criminal activity through our county. This does not include the reserves, who are volunteers, and they are being used when we call upon them. In today's world, the career of a law enforcement officer is one of both physical and mental strength as they face the day-to-day situations many of us only dare to imagine. Yet some of the toughest crimes they battle are the ones hidden behind the computer screens. You have to be a certain age to understand that screen. Alfred E. Newman, you can search it. Behind the computer screens are the crimes that are being committed on our internet. Technology is often the weapon of choice for preying on our innocent lives of our children, the elderly, and the loved ones. Just this weekend, several of us traveled to Columbus, Ohio for a national conference looking at different ways, different best practices, trying to improve our operations, and we heard a 4-star general speak on cyber crimes. And this was what he expressed to us. The fears it relates to cybercrime and how quickly those who would do harm to us can obtain information about individuals, companies, and our government within a 60-second time frame. We are thankful for the men and women in uniform, and we must all join our law enforcement professionals in their fight against cyber crimes reported, whether it's at work, at home, locally, and nationally. Next year, we'll be looking at some ways that this community needs to better insulate itself for that. Likewise, in our public safety department, we have over 60 employees who are constantly training, recruiting, and working to ensure the continuity of our operation and professional responses when disaster strikes our county. Under the leadership of Bill Jorgensen, Mac Purdy, Stephen Martini, in collaboration with the other department entities, I'm proud that our emergency management agency achieved the accreditation from the Emergency Management Accreditation Program. It's called EMAP. This was the first accreditation given to a local government in Tennessee. It is now one of only 41 throughout the United States, and we have 2 of them here in the state of Tennessee. It bears repeating that through the corporate efforts of the city of Franklin, the mayor, their aldermen, the board of aldermen, and the county commissioners, and the staff that goes into that, the emergency communications centers of Williamson County and the city of Franklin are now united as one team. The consolidation is a result of an ongoing partnership with the city of Franklin and all of our municipalities to best serve our residents. Tennessee is known as a volunteer state, and Williamson County is no exception. The oversight of our fire and rescue operations under Jay Bronson, there's 217 men and women who give of their time freely from 6 different stations who have to handle the hazardous condition and provide fire protection and rescue services to 548 miles without any pay. Did you ever stop and think, I'm just going to break from this, that when you travel in on 840 and you come in from Rutherford County all the way back around through Thompson Station in Fairview and exit back out to Dixon County, there's one little corner it's in city limits of Thompson Station. So when a truck or an accident occurs, it's the county law enforcement, state troopers, or the volunteers that have to treat and deal with these things. We do have relationships with each of our cities, but oftentimes it's relying on our volunteers in the middle of the night to get up. They must log in over 90 hours of training through the state of Tennessee, and they all have to act as firemen. Throughout the year, they have to go to meetings and training. It's an unbelievable task. You may not be aware of another set of volunteers who also actively train and participate in disaster exercises. They were out front too. These are volunteers of all ages. The youngest one is in the early teens, the oldest one is close to 85, and they're called our Williamson County Amateur Radio. They're called We Cares. For you that have some gray hair and may remember the days of SOS, .. when everything else goes out, all the electronics, all the grids are shot off the map, it's those men and women that will keep us going. Today, they can still run a parallel line and do the Morse code in the event that something should happen, and we're prepared for that. That's being run by our volunteers also. In fact, some of their exercising, we drop the electricity, and they can even send a Morse code into one of my computers, and all the electricity's off. I haven't figured out how they do that. But they can get through. So it is still used today in our federal government, state governments, and local governments. We're prepared for that. As you may be aware, our court system loads are increasing with our population as they rise. That's a picture of Judge Guffey's. Our jail, juvenile court, general circuit court systems, and the learning centers are all facing overcrowding issues. We've set up a committee called the Triple J, Judges, Jails. They meet on a monthly basis. We're looking at our current situation and projecting the caseloads, facilities, personnel needed, looking out into the future. Many of you, I saw Andy sitting over there. I appreciate you serving on that. He's concerned, and rightfully so. If our court system is so overloaded in downtown Franklin, what do we do? Because if you move the court system out, you'll cripple the businesses that are downtown. So it's a balancing act. And it's our job and our drive to find solutions for those. As you're aware, the legislators passed the Improved Act this year, which increased the gas tax in an effort to raise the revenue needed to improve the roadways and bridge construction through our state. As part of that legislation, Williamson County will have 6 new bridges repaired or replaced, including 3 on Nolensville Road, 2 on Columbia Pike, and 1 on Murfreesboro Road. TDOT also will make road improvements in our county on Franklin Road, Columbia Avenue, and a few others. If you think it's bad now, wait till construction starts. And oh, by the way, that little old small project in Franklin called McAsher, work began on it in January of next year, I'm being told. And that probably could have only been done through Franklin and their commitment to that. So I commend you all for stepping up and paying several $1 million. Roads and bridge improvements be quite beneficial to our residents, and I want to thank all the legislators. I know Sam and Charles are here. Thanks a lot for your hard work, hanging in there and getting it done, because Williamson County needed all that. Thank you guys very much. Eddie Hood, sitting in the back, continues to move forward to address other roads in the unincorporated in our county. Road improvements will soon be seen on the first phase of Arno Road within the right-of-way acquisitions. Highway Department is currently under contract with Brown Builders for the replacement of the bridge on Trinity Road. Trinity Road had an old bridge there. We're taking it down, and that should be back up and running by the first part of the year. So if you live out in the Page area, you get on Trinity Road, you might want to turn around. You know, when we talk about quality of life, we think of our parks and leisure services under the operation of Gordon Hampton and his staff. I'm very proud that we recently opened the new Enrichment Center and the Performing Arts Theater. These facilities represent a true jewel with the opportunities they provide for our children and us. At this location, you can check out a book from the library, relax on one of the quiet porches under a shade tree, catch an award-winning theater performance, or engage in a friendly game of pickleball. And I was just told, just as I went up here on the stage, that pickleball, who told me that? Somebody stand up and tell me what, tell us what on national TV, radio this morning.
It was a video on NBC and the Today Show that said that pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the United States.
So you all made fun of me. Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the United States. If you haven't tried it, you need to go to your phones right now and look up pickleball. You will love it. And it was for older people, but now we're having some competition. And we've got a pickleball court. I see a few of them looking over here at their pickleball. What is pickleball? Williamson County's fair is just around the corner. I'm sure you noticed that. Several changes have been made this year, and I want to call special attention and recognition to those changes. But before I do that, if you're a veteran of the United States, stand. Would you stand? The reason I wanted to do that, the last day of the fair would be Veterans Day. We've got a special section laid off. We've got a special ceremony we're going to have, and it is a day that all of our veterans can come into the fair free of charge. Also, if you've got children this year, like my daughter and daughter-in-law, we have a whole section down on the arena floor dealing with STEM, science, technology, engineering. What's the M stand for? Thank you. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to be with 3 other gentlemen, the Titans president, the Predators, and the new soccer, talking about a new sports authority. Many of you have come up to me in the last 24 hours wanting to know more about that. The Sports Authority is something the county commission approved about 15 months ago. We're in the process of putting that together. We're looking at amateur sports. If you have real detailed questions, ask Ellie Chin. Ask Ellie back in the back. She can tell you all about it, or go to our website and look up the sports feasibility study that was done. And it's basically talking about amateur sports and what that would mean to our community, and how government through public-private partnerships might be able to arrange that to happen. Same thing that happened 20-plus years ago when Davidson County was looking at the Predators and the Titans. Same thing. Look out in the future 20 years and see what our county might be able to offer in terms of amateur sports, or as we suggested yesterday, bring your training camps out here. We would love to have you. By the way, Richard Harrington's sitting on that, and I appreciate him. There are several others, but thank you for Richard. About a month ago, I'm wrapping it up, Matt. I know you're getting nervous. About a month ago, I attended a meeting where a prominent, well-known businessman that I will not name made the comment that he recently extended his life expectancy by moving to Williamson County because it's one of the healthiest counties. Well, I didn't think much about it. He was being a gentleman. He was being a statesman. So then yesterday, I had a reporter from Derby's paper send me an article, and this is what it showed. I didn't think much about it until I got into it looking at it. It occurred to me it means a number of things for this county. The obvious comes to mind that it means we have access to outstanding health care, such as Williamson Medical Center and Vanderbilt, the doctors, the nurses, the nurse practitioners all throughout our county. Being a healthy county covers more than that. It means total health. I encourage you to go to this website and read some of the data and the information about it. We're fortunate to have a top-rated overall health county, from excellent schools to low crime, good parks, good recreation facilities, numerous quality of life issues. It means we're all working hard each day to offer healthy choices to our residents. I don't stand before you as the epitome of good health, and that I like to eat cornbread, as you heard from my daughter, and I love potatoes. But we all make choices in what we do and how we do it. This morning, I live off from Del Rio, and this morning coming to work, I saw 6 people running, and it was early. 4 bicycles, all out getting exercise. We see it all the time in our county. The cities put in sidewalks, the counties don't. Many people ride on those roads. Many people are exercising. Many people are making significant choices that all contribute to the health of this county. That's why we're number one. It's because of you, and it's because of our healthcare system, and it's because of the things that we believe in our community, and they cost money. It's a total balance for a total health that we have. It's great to have those choices. Many counties and all throughout our state do not have those. I do not take them for granted. In closing, I want to say what an honor it is to serve as your mayor of Williamson County. It comes with a lot of opportunities, headaches, and challenges, but I do enjoy it. I look forward to coming to work almost every day and witness firsthand the wonderful things that is taking place in this county. May God continue to bless each of us as elected officials as we face those tough decisions that we've got to make over the next few years. May we face those difficulties with honesty and integrity, and we be united as unique individuals collectively serving for the betterment of this great county. Thank you for choosing to be here today. I look forward to working with you, the opportunities we face as a growing community together today and in the future. I'll take a question or two if you'd like to throw one at me. Great. Oh. All right, fire it away.
So thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm sure that the City of Brentwood Commission probably reached out to you to solicit your advice on the potentially breaking off from the school system. Can you, in a non-political way, share your advice that you gave them or your view on that, please?
So he asked me a question about does Brentwood want to get in the school system. Where's Dr. Looney? Stand up a minute. Let's answer him together. I believe when they see the numbers, they'll come to their own satisfaction of their answers. What do you think?
I think it's always good to go through a review process.
I do too.
I think it's a real uphill time.
I understand your question. They have not reached out to me yet. I'm sure they will, but that's really I know Kurt's here with Brentwood somewhere if he didn't leave. That's something for them and their board to do. There they are, and Betsy, the mayor over there, that it has a heavy price tag. It has a heavy price tag. Not that it's bad, but they do need to go through it. Anything else? You wish we went on now? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Dr. Nedra Fem Jackson. I'm a federal physician in Brentwood. My office, I live in Brentwood. And I really want to say that Williamson Medical Center is A+. When I send my patients there for lab work, they're seen within 10 minutes. When I call for reports, I get within 10 minutes by fax. And it's just a wonderful place. So please do everything you can to save this medical system.
Thank you, Matt. One last question. Anybody? Great. Cheers, Matt. Thank you all.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to take any questions. Secondly, I don't know how I follow a hug from granddaughters. That's a tough act to follow. A couple things. First of all, I think the funding solution is pretty evident. Just counterfeit Mike Looney bucks should probably cover the shortfall. We can do that. And the second thing I want to say, is pickleball really a sport? Tennis, that's a sport. Pickleball, I don't know. But in all seriousness, I just want to thank Mayor Anderson for joining us today. And you know, what you heard today is the culmination of great leadership over the last several decades. We are so fortunate, and I know people in this room recognize it, but we're so fortunate to live in this community. And you know, today's prosperous Williamson County, it didn't happen by accident, and it didn't happen overnight. And I'll say this, and he'll deny it, but no one's more responsible for that prosperity than Mayor Anderson. I mean, it's just true. And no one cares about our community more than he does. He's a great mayor. He's an even better man. And thank you, Rogers, for your steady, thoughtful, and inspiring leadership. We all greatly appreciate it. A couple announcements before we leave. The next big event we have is actually August 15th at 11 a.m. at the BGA campus. It is our State of the Schools address. It's a little different this year. We're actually going to look at the entire education ecosystem, private, independent, public schools. So this should be a really great conversation about one of the big economic drivers for Williamson County, our public school system. So please join us August 15th at the BGA campus for that. Something I want to mention briefly and actually recognize the team at Williamson, Inc. This is kind of hard to see, but this is a grand award winner from the American Chamber of Commerce Executives. There were only 12 winners this year at the conference last week in Nashville. There were 1,200 people who attended. This is the first time we entered the contest, and only 3 chambers across the state actually won an award. So I just want to take a second to thank the team at Williamson, Inc. for the dedication you show day after day after day to make this a great organization to serve this community. Thank you. And let me finally say, we're a membership-driven organization, and if this is the only event you attend this year, please know your annual investment works every day to make our community a better place for business and for families. A lot of things that Rogers talked about, a lot of these different initiatives, we're involved and engaged in from a staff and volunteer level. If you're not part of Williamson Inc., please seek out a member or business partner today and talk about their experiences firsthand, what they get out of the organization, and what they value from the community. We'd love to help you grow your business by becoming part of Williamson Inc. today. Thank you for coming. Thanks for your investment in our community through your investment in Williamson Inc., and we'll see you August 15th for the State of the Schools address. Thanks.